Hello, my name is Salsabila Nur Cahyani, and I will read my answer for the task. Part 1. Number 1. Benefit: genetically modified plants may need fewer pesticides than normal plants. Risk: genetically modified plants may start to dominate the other wild plants in the environment. Example: benefit: a type of corn that is bad for insect. When the insect eat the corn plant, they die. However, the corn doesn't hurt people. This type of corn is beneficial because farmers use fewer pesticides to grow the corn, and so there is less pollution in the environment. Also, the corn is less expensive because the farmers don't have to spend a lot of money on pesticides. So by using fewer pesticides, the corn is cheaper and the environment is cleaner. Risk: for example, the new tomato plants are stronger than normal plants, and because they are stronger and grow faster than the wild plants, the genetically modified tomatoes may start to dominate the environment, causing the wild plants to die. So having one plant dominate all the other plants isn't good for the environment. Number 2, genetically modified plants is that they may grow better than normal plants. Risks: genetically modified plants will hurt wild animals and insects in the environment. Example: benefit: a type of genetically modified strawberry that can grow in cold weather. These are better than normal strawberries because farmers can plant the strawberries earlier in the spring and later in the fall when normal strawberries usually die. So as a result, farmers can grow many more strawberries than they used to, so that's another benefit: plants that grow better. Risk: genetically modified corn has already caused this problem. Though some butterflies that live near the corn are dying butterflies that are good insect and then eat the corn. It's possible that corn is killing the butterflies somehow. Number 3, genetically modified plants stay fresh longer after they are harvested. Genetically modified food may be harmful to the people who consume the food the alterants in the plants. Example: benefit: a kind of tomato that stays fresh in the store for about 2 months instead of 1 or 2 weeks in mint. It means that there is more time to get the food to the stores and the store have more time to sell. Risk: to make a fruit like strawberry stay fresh longer, scientists took a gene from a fish gene to that helps the fish live in cold water and put that into a strawberry. Will that strawberry be harmful to people? Note: the genetically modified require fewer pesticides. For example, a type of corn that attacks pests but doesn't harm humans. GM crops that can grow better than normal plants. For example, the type of strawberry that can grow in spring and fall in places that usually die. Many genetically modified crops stay fresh after harvest. For example, tomatoes can stay ripe for 2 months from 2 weeks. Genetically modified plants may dominate other crops. GM tomato plants may start to dominate other crops because these plants are stronger and grow faster than normal plants. Genetically modified crops hurt wild animals and insects. Example: the GM corn kills butterflies. GM food may be harmful to humans to keep strawberries fresh and longer. A fish is brought to the strawberries. Rital. In this area of genetics, I want to talk about something that I'm sure you've all heard of: genetically modified food, or either a plant or animal that has been changed in a laboratory by scientists. Take something from one or an animal and add it to different plants or animals to create in different ways. Today, we are going to look at some of the benefits and possible risks of genetically modified foods. Let us start with a discussion of some of the benefit of GM foods. Genetic scientists are really trying to make food crops that are better than ordinary crops, to make crops that are modified in such a way that they make plants grow better or taste better or healthier to eat than normal plants. One of the benefits is that genetically modified crops may need less pesticides than normal crops. For example, there are varieties of corn that are bad for insects. When insects eat their corn, plants die, but corn doesn't hurt people. this type of corn is beneficial because farmers use less pesticides to grow corn, so it is more or less pollution in the environment also. The corn is less expensive because the farmers don't have to spend a lot of money on pesticides. So by using fewer pesticide, the corn is cheaper and the environment is cleaner. Another benefit of genetically modified plants is that they may grow better than normal plants. One example is a type genetically modified strawberry that can grow in cold weather. These are better than normal strawberries because farmers can plant the strawberries earlier in the spring and later in the fall when normal strawberries usually die. So as a result, farmers can grow many more strawberries than they used to. So that's benefit plants that grow better. Finally, a third benefit is that many genetically modified plants stay fresh longer after they are harvested. So for example, there is a kind tomato that stay fresh in the store for about 2 months instead of 1 or 2 weeks. This means that there is more time to get the food to the stores and the stores have more time to sell. The last food is thrown away and was so it's a great benefit to have some that stays fresh longer and we can consume more of the food we grow. Nor that we've looked at some of the benefit of genetically modified plants. Let's talk about the risk of growing this type of food. We don't really know what the harmful effects are, but there are several things that people are worried about. One risk is that the genetically modified plants may start to dominate the other wild plants in the environment. This is problem with some types of tomatoes. For example, the new tomatoes plants are stronger than normal plants, and because they are stronger and grow faster than the wild plants, the genetically modified tomatoes may start to dominate the environment, causing the wild plants to die. So having one plant dominate all the other plants isn't good for the environment. Another risk is that genetically modified plants will hurt wild animals and insects in the environment. For example, to make a fruit like strawberry stay fresh longer, scientists took a gene from a fish gene that helps the fish live in cold water and put that into a strawberry. Will that strawberry be harmful to people? We don't know, but it may be. So it's clear that there are some important benefits to genetically modified food, but also some risks that a lot of people aren't willing to take. Part two. Number one, what is the main topic of that story? Three soldiers who fled on small witch and encountered a cunning dragon. Number two, mention the character of each story. Three soldiers, fiery dragon, dragon grandmother. Number three, how many soldiers in that story and mention their problems? Three soldiers escaping with such a small salary that it wasn't enough to live and hid in hide for 2 days and 2 nights and almost starved to death. Number four, what is the dragon riddles? Mention and explain it. First riddle, what goes on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 legs at noon, and on 3 legs in the evening? And the answer is Everson. He crawls on all fours as a baby, walks on 2 legs as an adult, and walks with 2 legs and a stick in old age. Second riddle, through of a great age I'm kept in a cage, having a long tail and one ear, my mouth is round, and when joys do abound. Oh, then I sing wonderful, clear, what am I? And the answer is a bell. Final riddle. As I was going to sit out, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kids. Kids, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to sit Ive? And the answer is only one. Only one was going to sit Ive. All the others were going to the other way. The souls of the 3 soldiers are mine for share. Number 5, make a note and retell using your own word. Note, 3 soldiers who fled on small witch and encountered a cunning dragon. They hide in the cornfields for 2 days and 2 nights until they starved and almost died. Then a dragon came and asked why they were hidden there. We're 3 soldiers who laughed because our salary was so low, they replied. Now if we stay here, we will starve to death, and if we leave, we will be hanged on the gallows. Then the dragon offered if they want to be his servants for 7 years, he would lead them through the midst of the army. And the three soldiers agreed. The three soldiers got little whips, and their lives became fulfilled. He put a book before them, which he made all three of the sign. I will then give you three riddles, he said. If you guess them, you shall be free and out of my power. They had as much money as they want, put on fancy clothes, and entered the world. Everywhere they went, they lived in excitement and pomp, riding with the horses and chariots, eating and drinking, but doing nothing wrong. Time passed quickly. For nearly 7 years, two of them have been worried about the deal he made with the dragon 7 years ago. They go into the field and meet with an old lady and tell her that they've been dragon servants for 7 years and that they can escape, they can answer the riddle given by a dragon. Then the old woman suggested going into the forest and finding a stone building collapse like a small house. Finally, one of them went there and met the dragon's grandmother. After the soldiers told her why he had come there, the dragon's grandmother was happy and compassionate and was finally helped by her. He told us to hide in the cellar and carefully listen to the answer to the riddle. Having learned all the answer, he went back to meet his companions without the knowledge of the dragon. When 7 years had passed, the evil dragon came to the soldiers with his book, pointed to his signature, and at this moment the three soldiers had to answer to the riddle. They answered correctly, and finally the dragon flew with loud screams and had no more power over them. The three soldiers took that little whip, shook as much money as they want, and lived happily ever after. Retell a tale of three soldiers who decided to run away from the army because they could not live on their wage. They sat for 2 days and 2 nights in the corn and grew so hungry that they nearly died. But if they were to venture out, it was certain death. They said at last, what use was it, our deserting from the army? And they answered, we are three soldiers, and have deserted because our pay was so small. If we remain here, we shall die of hunger, and if we move out, we shall be strung up on the gallows. He said to them, if you will serve me for 7 years, I will lead you through the midst of the army so that no one shall catch you. The dragon then snatched them up in his claws, flew them over the army, and dumped them far away on the ground. The dragon then flew away, and they journeyed on with their little whip. The old woman sighed, if you would help yourself, one of you must go into the wood, and there he will come up upon a tumble-down building of rocks which looks like a little house. In the hat sat a very old woman who was the dragon's grandmother. When the dragon comes, I will ask him what the riddle is, for he tells me everything. At midnight, the dragon flew in and asked for his silver. I haven't had much luck today, he said, but I have a tight hold on three soldiers. I haven't had much luck today, he admitted, but I have three soldiers under my control. The first is like this. The dragon explained it. What walks on four legs in the morning, two legs in the afternoon, and three legs at night. The old lady looked quite baffled and sighed. Tell me, my fair grandchild, what does go on four legs in the morning, on two legs at noon, and on three legs in the evening? Why, laughed the dragon. No one else has riddles as clever as yours, the old lady said. They are not likely to figure out the answer to that one. But if that's the case, what's your second conundrum? The dragon replied. That his second riddle was just as clever and even more beautiful because it was written as a rhyme. Through a great age, I'm kept in a cage, having a long tail and one ear. My mouth is round, and when joys to abound. Oh, then I sing wonderful, clear. What am I? And the answer is about. The old lady marveled at her grandson's resourcefulness and shook her head. She shouted, "Oh, you are quite the most running dragon who ever existed," and spewed fire. "What do you have planned for your final and most challenging riddle?" "Oh, just some simple arithmetic," said the dragon. "As I was going to ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Every wife had 7 sacks. Every sack had 7 cats. Every cat had 7 kids. Kids, cats, sacks, and wives. How many were going to sit ives?" And the answer is only one. When 7 years had passed, the evil dragon came to the soldiers with his book, pointed to his signature, and at this moment the 3 soldiers had to answer the riddle. They answered correctly, and finally the dragon flew with loud screams and had no more power over them. The 3 soldiers took that little whip, shook as much money as they won, and lived happily ever after. Part 3. Make a note and retell using your own word. Note. Foliage Helena was playing with her dolls under the maple tree in the garden. It was the first warm day of spring, and the little girl was glad to be out of doors again and to rock her babies to sleep on one of the low branches. But she wasn't the only one singing a lullaby that bright sunny morning, for Mother Nature was singing one too, and a soft breeze was gently tucking some little brown cradles to and fro in the treetops. Retail. Foliage Helena was playing with her dolls under the maple tree in the garden, but she changed into now no longer the most effective one making a song, a lullaby that vivid sunny morning. For Mother Nature changed into making a song one too, and a smooth breeze changed into lightly tucking a few little brown cradles backward and forward within inside the treetops. The subsequent time Helena got here out to play, the turtles within inside the treetop had been making up, and he may want to see them or of their dainty, inexperienced night dresses peeping out on the world. By the time spring went away, the toddlers had grown big and strong and unfolded lovely inexperienced parasols to offer coloration to their bodies via the hot, dusty days of summer. When Helena seemed into their antique houses at the tree, she located a few extra teeny brown cradles and knew that during them had been new leaf toddlers that sleep probably think till spring comes once more to go to earthdom and wakes every infant within sight the treetop. Part 4. Make a note and retell using your own word. Note. Psychologists found 3 factors for achieving happiness when talked to hundreds of people. 1. Personality factor is that happy people are satisfied with themselves. This means that they like themselves, they are, and they're happy with that they have. Number 2, personality factor is that happy people are optimistic. They look at the positive side of life, not the negative. Number 3, personality factor is that happy people have good relationship with other people. Retail, have a lot of money not always give us happiness. Psychologists found 3 factors for achieving happiness when talked to hundreds of people. The first personality factor is that happy people are satisfied with themselves. This means that they like themselves as they are and they're happy with what they have. The happiness comes from the inside. If you feel happy with anything you have, you can find the happiness. Next, personality factor is that happy people are optimistic, always positive thinking, and always improve your skill. And last personality factor is that happy people have good relationship with other people. Whereas make a relationship with friends and family studies show that close loving relationship are one of the most important factors in achieving happiness. Finished. Thank you.